Can I start? Hi. Hello. My name is Wienke Giezeman, CEO, co-founder of the Things Industries. Thanks for being here. Like it's 4 p.m. You can also be home already. And I also have to catch a flight already at 7. So I think we're aligned. Like we want to get this over with. No, that's joking. So my name is Wienke Giezeman, CEO of the Things Industries, and our company is all about LoRaWAN. So here in the room, like who already knows about LoRaWAN? Who implemented LoRaWAN already? Yeah. Okay. So for the ones who don't know, so I'll also make sure I give a kind of focus a bit more on the update on where we are as a company and kind of like the last 10 years journey. And but LoRaWAN is, for who doesn't know, is a wireless transmission technology. It's really good to place sensors in the field that last for quite a long time. Works great if you set up your own private network and if you make sure you only send a few messages a day, and then it's a great technology. We are a global provider of network software for LoRaWAN networks. And so a LoRaWAN network exists out of sensors, a gateway, like a base station, and a network service. The end devices and the gateways, they are simple. They do not have a lot of logic or complexity. A lot of the complexity of the network management is in the cloud, and we provide a cloud service for anybody to set up private networks. Yes, just to start with kind of the value and the business cases. So if you have these sensor networks, you can think of all kinds of different use cases. So if you have a small sensor that measures temperature, humidity, a GPS coordinate, it can do smoke detection. Whatever sensor you think of course, you can create wireless sensors out of there. And over the last 10 years, we gathered around 1,000 customers. And the beauty of it is that they do all kinds of different things. We have customers that doing tracking, which is pretty, yeah, I mean, I think that speaks for it. But what we mostly see where LoRaWAN is good in tracking, because you have to build your own network. It's not like cellular where you have public networks. You have to put networks on points of presence that you have. So like distribution centers or maybe a port, and then you can track your goods across that. So we have quite some customers. For instance, they're shipping vaccines and medicine through air freight from different places within a region, and they have on their warehouses at the airport, they have the LoRaWAN networks installed. And when then the goods come in, they kind of like drop and process and send all the temperature logging. And then even before it gets in the warehouse, when it's unloaded off the aircraft, they already have all the data, and then they can see if something went wrong or not. So they can act really fast. We see a lot of smart city projects here in the UK. We have a customer, Connexin, who's rolling out 1 million water meters. That's like 4 or 5 messages a day. Yeah, it's perfect for that. This is also like the beauty of the technology, is that we have customers that have a business by only deploying 100 devices, and we have customers that have a business by deploying 1 million devices. And it's all on the same platform. And this is basically what we do. So just to kind of go from the business case to the technology. So this is the general architecture. You have devices on the edge. These are the low power sensor-based devices. Then you have the gateways. This is not what we do. This is all. We have all kinds of partners that we have certified to be connected to what we call the Things stack. And this is kind of the orchestration and the network management software that makes sure that this all works together and data is securely routed from kind of the far edge to your enterprise applications. And we're not an IoT platform, but we integrate into all kinds of enterprise applications, but also enterprise functions. So we can have, for instance, the security key, the security and the key vault. You can have that on premise while we do the management of the network. You can have the whole product on premise. So we have quite some customers in the utility space. They have all kinds of on-premise requirements, or in the industrial space, and then we license them the complete product, and it can run on all kinds of different clouds. And if we also have a high availability option when you want to use Kubernetes, and that's becoming very popular because Kubernetes is becoming quite a standard. If customers kind of 5 years ago, when they said I want on-premise, then we would say no, you don't want that, but we'll figure out together why you don't want that. And now it's pretty funny. Like, we now have customers and we say, hey, we have Docker, we have Kubernetes, and then we see that actually a DevOps competence is starting to emerge also in traditional companies. So it's very interesting development, and also these are all enablers for IoT. So basically that's our product. The beauty of the IoT market is that we now have 3 million end devices, 100,000 IoT gateways connected globally. Majority of our business is in the US, rest is Europe, Southeast Asia. After 10 years, I still have the feeling that we're just getting started. Because so many times I see customers and I think, like, why isn't this 100 times bigger? Why isn't this? Why don't you have 10 times the competitors? Like, this opportunity is so obvious, right? And then of course it's obvious when you see it. But so if you look at the whole IoT market, there is all these different niches and fragments, and for everything you need your own competence. And this is also the reason why there's no Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg of IoT, because you have to make a decision as an IoT company. You have to go for a certain vertical or a certain horizontal and try to be the best in that, because it's damn hard to do. But let's zoom into facility management, for instance. And then within facility management, there is a world of niches as well. And then I'm not even talking about geographical differentiations. Like, there's all kinds of different compliancy ruling or certifications around facility management. They also differ per country, sometimes even per region or per state in a country. So let's then zoom into a niche of a niche, and which is kind of like just checking out the fridge. What's happening with the fridge? Is it on? Is it off? Is it at the right temperature? And let's just only zoom into the US. And if you only look in the US, there's 8 million commercial fridges. And if you would say that the total cost of ownership of one IoT device in LoRaWAN, it's around $300, let's say over 4 years, then you would already have an opportunity of 2.4 billion, right? So, so for me, it feels really that we're just getting started, and that there's so much potential for our customers out there and our ecosystem, and it's just time and imagination. So I get the question a lot. So what's the key vertical? Like, where do you see the growth? Where do I have to go to be successful? And then I have to disappoint them, because it's everywhere, and there's not really one outlier. And maybe you have one outlier that for instance, metering, that's an outlier on scale, but it's not an outlier on cash, right? Like, it's a highly competitive market that's driving itself down to zero. So yeah, maybe you see a lot of meters, but like, the question always is like how much money is being made. So it's very, very diverse, and yeah, that's also a very cool thing that works like that. The analysts, and we see the data as well. So there is this consensus of like somewhere between 20 and 40 year-on-year growth of the market, and nowadays, like, this is a really, really good market to be in. If you can grow your business at this pace, then you're in a good spot. So the guys from IoT Analytics think of it. Robin Duke Woolley also thinks that the IoT market is going in the right direction, and Matt also believes it is. And the IoT analysts don't have a really great reputation because they are the ones that always promised us the billions of devices. But I know these guys personally, and I think this, we're also here we're talking about quite a realistic growth rate and prediction. I don't think they're off. So yeah, AI. We need to talk about AI as well, and we have around 3 million devices. We route around 4 billion about 1 billion messages a month over our platforms, and where you kind of like see where Gen AI and Edge AI is, they're still on the hype. IoT is kind of like, let's say that we're about here, but there's a really good match because AI really only works if the input is great, garbage in, garbage out. So where did OpenAI spend so many times on is literally by people making sure and correcting the AI and creating synthetic data to train the models, right? So they were spending 8 years on creating great data to train their models. So the breakthrough there was because of the clean and very, very well input data. Now they have a nice LLM. But what does IoT data or at least in the LoRaWAN space already create? Because it's so constrained, it's always very high quality. The business value intensity of a small battery operated device data point is very high because you think about sending every message. You think about sending it, and if you send it, you want to make sure that if you send it, somebody on the other side can do something with it, right? So that's already ingrained in our ecosystem. High quality data is already ingrained because it's too expensive to send garbage data. So it's well structured. Our platform makes sure that there's payload harmonizers, normalizers, so whatever temperature sensor you use, from what brand, the data to the IT systems will always have the same format. It's filtered, as I said, it's contextualized, you know exactly where your device is, you know exactly, and it's proprietary. So it's your data, right? Like IoT data is always your data, and even there's European law coming into play that actually will enforce that your data is, that the IoT data that you generate is your data. So this is great for AI, right? So our customers have a big opportunity here, and this will only drive the market. So let's say that. So what's the kind of total impact here if we look already kind of what our base is kind of doing. So I'm not talking about all the other companies that are also doing LoRaWAN. So let's say that we have 2.8 million devices on all our software. So if we say, and this after 10 years, quite some confirmation. I've tested this with quite some customers, but the average total cost of ownership of a LoRaWAN device is around $300. So this means network installation of the sensor, and that means maintenance, cloud services, sometimes something going down. So let's say that the installed base of our customers combined is around 820 million big. So this is only the IT and IoT spent, right? But nobody is going to be successful with no margin, right? So and because IoT is so incredibly risky, right? Like 10% of all IoT projects succeed. But the beauty is that of that 10%, they exceed expectations. So they always have a bigger business case than once expected. And for instance, water metering, this is insane. Like the amount of money that is being saved by these water meters is over a lifetime of, these are 10 years. We're talking about much more than the 5x. That's being grabbed, by the way, by the utility company, not the vendors that are playing around here. Probably for water metering, this pie is this big, and then the pie is a bit smaller. But let's say this is our average, and the total impact is like let's say 4.1 billion Is it? Yeah, I think it's correct. This is already kind of what it's doing. Like IoT is we can say it's a mature market. It's growing. This will only grow further. This is a massive impact, and there's all kinds of developments. We're constantly improving our products. Our partners and our hardware partners and hardware device makers, they're improving their products, so the total cost of ownership will go down, and the impact will increase. Right. So we as technology providers, we are kind of like always, we are on a path to commoditization, always, right? You will always, if you become successful, you will inherently become a commodity. And the value that's driven that will only increase because people will become more creative with your technology. And one thing that I am extremely excited about is all the developments, and you see it here at the show as well, all these developments around making sure that these sensors that now operate on batteries and maybe last for like 3-4 years, right? Now all of a sudden through energy harvesting, through vibration, radio, light, like small solar panels, small piezo energy harvesters, you can extend the lifetime. And this is a very interesting dynamic because when my prediction in the next 2 years, it will be standard to kind of roll out sensors with energy harvesters because you will break through zero. At some point, you harvest enough energy to send all the data that you want. And then all of a sudden, this becomes like an infinite device. It won't be infinite because there's a lifetime on other components, right? But all of a sudden, the business case where you were working hard for and you were calculating it and you saw the business case with a battery lifetime of 3 years worked, all of a sudden here, all kinds of crazy dynamics become. Because what if all these sensors last for 10 years? It truly becomes a capex. It becomes an infrastructure. So, this will result in all kinds of other dynamics because the economics will so inherently change that also even people kind of like, if you ask for any VC, would you invest in the IoT company? They will say, hell no, right? That this will change that for sure. So yeah, just exaggerating here as well. So let's make it 10x by adding the effect of the kind of like, if you extend the lifetime, the effect will, let's say, double, and the impact will double as well. So a bit more kind of on I told you about kind of like this architecture, what we're doing. We're also trying to make sure that the total cost of ownership is lowered here. We're making a new product every month. So our company really only does LoRaWAN. And we decided just to do that because we very early on realized like how hard IoT is, and that differentiation of hard things is probably not a good business strategy. So we said, okay, we're gonna just become world champion LoRaWAN, and that means that we everything we do and all the resources we have, we can kind of put on our product. So we constantly ask our customers, do they still love how our product works, looks, the UX, API. So we just released a very new, like a new UI, navigation, and a new console. Just making it easier to find your stuff. So it looks pretty. That's nice. Let's go here. So we created an extended version. And this really mostly has to do with large-scale deployment, where we give you data analysis on how your network is performing, and a lot of like fine-grained ways to zoom into deployments, select a site through a gateway, see how things are performing, keep track of how battery optimal your devices are going, and do your network operations. We have alerting when something is down, and we route through the data, which is kind of real time. But when your system has an update or is down, we back off the data and we buffer it, and then we flush it when your system is up again. So these are all kind of additional kind of ways to make sure that our customers are happy. We launched a gateway as a service, which is a hardware as a service product. There we vertically integrated the entire gateway into our platform. This is a complete proprietary solution, and it's for customers that they want an ease of installation. It comes with a backhaul already integrated, and it comes at a fixed subscription rate. It's typically for the customers that really want to just a plug-and-play solution and don't mind paying a subscription for this. We have some assurances. You only pay $6 a month for the whole service. That includes all data, backhaul connectivity, and because we control the software on the device, we control how much data goes through. And this also means that we can take the risk for you on the cellular bill. So you will only pay $6 a month to us, and we will never charge you for any overusage, because we trust that. And you can also connect it to Wi-Fi or Ethernet if you want to, but yeah, for cellular, we support AT&T and Verizon in the US, and here in Europe, yeah, the LTE networks are abundant as well. So yeah, that's a bit about our company and what we do, and I hope I shared kind of like a optimism and kind of like excitement for this technology, and we're already doing that for 10 years. I think some of you might know us from our developer ecosystem, the Things Network, and it really feels that we're just getting started, and that LoRaWAN is really a kind of like it almost becomes an incumbent in IoT, like a known brand, and in all the verticals and all the different solutions that we find it. I mean, 3 million devices, that's really a lot. Like, I mean, many people here know how hard hardware is in IoT and operations and installation. You can imagine like how much effort has gone in all these people installing. I cannot even imagine, but it's a testament to kind of that people trust the technology and want to use it. What I said is one of the things that I believe is holding the market growth back is imagination. Imaginations and inspiration around not only the technology and say, hey, this works, right? This is end-to-end. And it's not what you tried like 5 years ago or 6, 7 years ago when you tried to use LoRaWAN, it was all falling apart. No, like it matured. But also imagination on business case and what's happening with your peers or what's happening on another continent. And for that reason, we've created our own conference. It's called the Things Conference. And it's 23 and 24 of September. And for us, this is a conference about Edge and IoT. We're doing this together with all these different alliances. Of course, with our developer community, Sapphire Project, Eclipse Foundation, Arduino, Bluetooth, Z-Wave, LoRa Alliance, and the Edge AI Foundation. And this is really going to be a broader event about like we see this space growing, and there's just some simple kind of it really is limited by shared ideas. So we have around 2,000 people here in Amsterdam. It's the end of the summer, so it's still pretty nice. So you're all invited. If you want a ticket, everybody's here can get a ticket if you just like send me a message on the platform or a LinkedIn, or figure out like my email address is wienke@thetingsindustries.com. It's very simple. So yeah, everybody's invited. Seed here. They're our partner. I think you guys are coming, so I'm putting you on the spot right now. So. Okay, cool. So that's good. So we already have some partners here. So that's going to be super fun. So I want to thank you very much. I hope to see you at the event.